Hi friends, welcome to My Sew Bliss. Today I've partnered up with Missouri Star Quilt Co to bring you another sewing tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make this darling candy corn table runner. So cute, perfect for fall, Halloween. I love it. I love candy corn. I know it's a hot topic, but I'm obsessed. So when I saw this pattern, I knew I needed to make it and put a little twist on it. So I picked out some really fun colors and really fun Halloween fabric to make this table runner. And I'm obsessed with how it turned out. Now I need to decorate my whole house in these colors for Halloween, and I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. So I'm going to show you how to make this table runner. You're going to need your pattern, fabrics. You can get the supply list on the back of the pattern, and luckily they even have a PDF pattern and a physical copy of the pattern as well. So if you like one over the other, they've got you covered. You can also get a template for the triangle shapes, which are awesome because this pattern also has pendants as well. So you make all of them, all of the triangle shapes for the candy corn at the same time. So I'm also going to do another video on the pendant as well, finishing that off. But this video, we're just going to do the candy corn, and I'm so excited about it. So you can buy the template, you can make your own template, which is kind of hit and miss, but if you have one, that's going to make this so much easier. So other than that, you're just going to need your basic sewing supplies. So let's get started making our candy corn table runner. Once you have your pieces cut out, our first step is going to be sewing the candy corn strips together. So I chose these fun colors. I'm not doing as traditional, but I tried to keep it somewhat traditional, and I loved this fabric for my black fabric, the skulls. This whole line is just so cute. So I kind of went with that theme, and of course like a neon yellow is always so fun. So now I'm going to take my strips with the orange in the middle, or whatever you have as your orange fabric. We're going to just sew the length of the strips. So I'm going to open it up, the whole thing, because we cut them the width of the fabric, and then right sides together and sew along that seam. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing with the yellow, and that's going to be on the other edge of our orange. So it creates that order of a candy corn. So it creates that order of a candy corn. It's gonna be super cute. So let's head over to our sewing machine and get these stitched together. After you've got your strips sewn together, we're going to use our template, either the one you've created or one that you've bought in, and cut out our candy corn. So I'm just going to line mine up, grab my ruler, and we're going to make sure that we turn the candy corn 180 degrees when we cut it after this one. So every time you're going to turn it. Once you have your candy corn pieces separated, I'm going to now use the ones with the yellow at the very top and set the pink ones off to the side. Those are for our pendants. So now I'm going to get the candy corn ready to create the base of the table runner. So I'm going to take one of my strips of black fabric, and we're going to make two of these. We're going to place them right sides together. You just want to make sure that 1/4 inch is hanging off either end. And like I said, we're going to make two of those. And while I'm showing you, I'm going to show you that I'm also going to do the opposite. So one pointing up and one pointing down, right along the edge, 1/4 inch hanging off the edges. And I'm going to make 2 of those as well. So you'll notice this one will turn out this way, this one will turn out this way once they're sewn. So you should end up with 4 total. After you have those black strips sewn on, we're going to trim the ends of them. This is important that you're doing it the correct way so that it all comes together correctly. So I'm gonna line my ruler up with the bottom of my yellow, and I'm gonna cut straight across through the black. And hopefully your black is long enough. There's a couple that I think I actually need longer strips. So don't be afraid to unpick it and make it longer, or check it before you actually sew it on. But it should create a straight line with that. And now we go to our top. So this would be the pink or the white, depending on what color you're using. And we're gonna go 1/4 inch from the top of it and then parallel to our bottom line. So I'm going to make sure there's 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to turn it this way so I can see it better, but line, if I line this side up with my mat, and then I can line this up here, get my 1/4 inch squared away, make sure my ruler's straight, so that this line right here that we're going to cut is parallel to the bottom line. Okay. And then I can set that off to the side and trim my other ones. Once you have all 4 of the candy corn stitched and trimmed, just like that, we're going to take 2 opposite ones and place them right sides together. So the sashing's opposite. If I turned it this way, I just wanted to show you. So we're going to alternate them like this. So if you turn it like this, then put it right sides together, it's going to be ready to go. One thing to make sure of is that on either end, you have 1/4 inch overhang so that it lays correctly. So if you want to measure that, it's lining up pretty good. And then I'll pin it in place and stitch that down, because then it'll lay correctly, like I said. And we're gonna make 2 of those. So I'm gonna pin this in place and then meet you over at the sewing machine. After you have those 2 done, so you should have 1, 2, 1, 2, they're exactly the same. Make sure they're lined up, because now we're going, see how they're going opposite? This opposite one right here that doesn't have our black strip on this side is going to attach to our other piece. So we're going to flip that right sides together and line that up. And again, this yellow edge down here is going to hang over 1/4 inch. And we did that so that it would line up and match perfectly right there and on this one as well. So just make sure, or don't be worried if you notice that hanging over that edge, because that is exactly how we want it. So once I have that matched up, I'll show you. It's going to look a little wonky, but we'll get that pinned in place and head over to the sewing machine again. Once you have those 4 sewn together, you're going to have 1 extra candy corn piece that matches these 4. So forget about the other stack of 5. Those are for pendants. So we're going to take it, and the edge that has the black strip already sewn, we're going to sew this last candy corn to it. So make sure it's going the opposite direction and right sides together. This top of the yellow right here is going to have that 1/4 inch overhang, and line up that edge and pin in place, and we're gonna sew that down. And that's gonna fold over just like so, and complete our candy corn row. So let's get that pinned in place and then head over to the sewing machine. Once you have your 5 candy corns sewn together, we're going to take 2 of the black triangles that we cut out, and in the same manner, we're gonna sew them on to either end of our candy corn rows. So this one, well, I keep flipping it the wrong way, is gonna go this way. So right sides together. It's gonna have a 1/4 inch overhang, and pin that one in place. And then come to this opposite side. It's gonna lay similar to this and flip that, right sides together. 1/4 inch overhang at the bottom, and pin that in place. And then we can sew both of those black triangles in place as well. With those 2 black triangles sewn on, now we're going to actually cut them off a little bit. We're just gonna line up a ruler, make sure it's a good straight edge for you, and you're gonna measure 1/4 inch away from the tip of this triangle, the black triangle that we just sewed, and I'm gonna line it perpendicular with the bottom of the candy corn and the top of the candy corn. So just make sure everything's lined up, because then that will give us that perfect line up. And honestly, I could even look at my mat right here, and it's also straight as well. And we'll just trim that edge off. And then we'll go to the other side and trim it as well. And this is just trimming, like I said, the edge, getting it ready to finish off the borders of our table runner. But it's looking so good. I am absolutely loving it. So let's get these trimmed and we can finish our borders. To start our borders, we're first going to take our black fabric, and I'm just going to take one long strip. I'm not even going to trim it yet. I just like doing it that way. And I'm going to place it on the top, fold it right sides together, and match up that top edge and pin that in place. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take another strip, place it on the bottom edge, right sides together, and pin that as well, so we can take it over to our sewing machine and sew both of those black borders down. With the black border sewn on the top and the bottom, I'm then just gonna take my ruler and rotary cutter and trim that excess off. I just like doing that because then there's no way of me cutting it wrong and then not having a long enough piece of fabric when I do something like this. So you don't have to, but it just ends up working nicer. And even on the other side, I kept a little bit off the edge just to make sure it lines up perfectly, and just is like a security for me. After you have the black border on the bottom and the top of your runner, we're then going to add 2 more borders to it. And in the pattern, it's white and orange. For my white, you can tell I used the pink instead. So I have my pink border pieces ready to go, and then I have my orange border pieces ready to go. And we're going to start by doing the pink, and I'm going to start by sewing it to the sides. And kind of like I showed before, I like to sew it on and then trim it. I don't cut it and then sew it. just so I always make sure to have enough. So I'm going to sew a strip on either side of the quilt, trim those off, and then do it across the whole top. So it'll extend over the border on the sides as well. And that will finish off our pink. So I'm going to get this ironed. It has a few wrinkles in it, and then I'm going to pin it to my shorter sides first, like I said, and take it over to the sewing machine. Once you have your white border done, or pink in my case, make sure to give it a good iron. I like to press the seams out together, and then I'm going to trim up. I just roughly trimmed it with my scissors so that I didn't have all this excess fabric, but I'm just going to square this up so that it's parallel and clean all the way across. And then we're going to get ready to do the exact same thing, but now with our orange fabric. Mine is orange on this one. So this is the other border. We're going to flip this around and do the other side real quick. But for the orange border, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. So I'm going to do this short edge first, and then do the long edges all the way to the edge. And that'll finish it off with our borders. So that looks really nice. So I'll take my strip and pin it right sides together right along this short edge, and take it over to my sewing machine and sew that on. Once I have the borders finished, the last thing I need to do is sandwich this together with some batting that I have, and then backing fabric. I'm going to use this fun one to go on the back of it, and then I'm going to do some quilting on the top. I think I'm just going to do straight lines either at a diagonal or straight across. I haven't decided yet. But I like to either use a spray basting or pins. I'll probably just use pins on this one because it's not a giant quilt, and that'll go quicker. So I just layer them and then pin them all together and start quilting. Once you've finished your quilting, I am then going to trim around the table runner all that excess of fabric and batting and get it ready for our binding. With that trimmed, I'm now going to take my stripe fabric that I picked out to make binding out of, and I think I'm just going to do regular binding. I don't think I need it on the bias, but it would look cool. I love it with stripes, but I think just like a straight stripe is going to look really good as well. So I'm going to make my binding and put that on the edge and get this finished up. Okay guys, once you are finished binding your table runner, however you like to do binding, you are all done with the table runner. I cannot wait to set this out and put Halloween decor around it as well. I think I need to do a little shopping so I can match the pink in this and the yellow. It's just so fun. I'm obsessed with the colors and how it turned out and the stripe binding. Oh, these fabrics are so fun. So make sure you check out Missouri Star Quilt Co. Their fabrics, their patterns. They have some really great stuff. I love that they have PDF patterns and physical copies of their patterns as well, and even have the templates that you can use. So many great resources and tools and tips for sewing can be found over there. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'll make sure to do a pendant tutorial as well, so you can also make that, which is in this pattern book. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them down below in the comment section and I'll get back to you. And make sure to follow along for more sewing tutorials, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!